Grüßt euch, guten Tag, guten Morgen, guten Abend, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to hairtailor.com. This is Kapitel 1, Erste Stufe vocabulary. And so let's dive right in. Share my screen with you here. All righty. So, Erste Stufe, so sagt man das. So a lot of the title of our vocabulary sections are going to have different names you're going to get used to throughout the chapters. So sagt man das. So that's how one says that. All right. So one of the question words you'll see if you go back up to the uh, top of the document, hopefully you've downloaded your copy of the document and aren't just watching me. So you have your own copy to look at. But go download the document at hairtailor.com and look at the questions for the classroom up top. One of them is Wie sagt man? Wie sagt man French fry? Auf Deutsch. Right? How do you say French fries in German? And so, how do you say that? So sagt man das. That's how you say that. Wie sagt man das? How does one say that? So sagt man das. So says one that. Okay, so wie sagt man French fries auf Deutsch? Man sagt, and you don't have to say that, obviously, you just could say the word. Pommes. Yeah. And it's officially pommes. Pommes frites. Man sagt Pommes frites auf Deutsch. Yeah, pommes frites. Okay, but mostly people just say pommes. Yeah, it's like fries. Yeah. And then don't forget, you can say, wie sagt man das auf Englisch? Wie sagt man das auf Chinesisch? Wie sagt man das auf Japanisch, etc. Okay. So here's how you say this: asking someone's name and giving yours. And again, a good habit is to always listen and repeat. You can download these videos and keep them. Play me saying them and pause the video when you need to. Practice repeating, practicing the pronunciation. Again, there are a lot of other good pronunciation guides and other good materials on YouTube and on the internet. We'll talk more about those in the future. For right now, you take my voice, listen to it, repeat the vocabulary. And a really good thing to do is record yourself saying it so that you can hear your pronunciation compared to mine. Not just hearing it through your own head, but hearing it from outside. You know, when you hear your voice on a voicemail or a voice recording and it sounds funny, that's how you really sound to everybody. So it's good to hear that pronunciation so you don't do a Joey Tribbiani. All righty. So here we go. When you meet a new student, you'll want to find out his or her name. You ask and the student responds. Wie heißt du? Ich heiße Klaus. Wie heißt du? Ich heiße Klaus. Okay, and you might ask differently, but still seek the same information. Heißt du Klaus? Ja, ich heiße Klaus. Heißt du Rudolf? Nein, ich heiße Klaus. So you can say, just like in English, what is your name? Wie heißt du? Or you can say, heißt du Klaus? Is your name Klaus? Yeah. And make sure you check my notes about the multiple verbs up top and ask questions if you have any. All right. To ask about a boy's name, here's an interesting thing we'll talk about more in a second with the definite articles der, die, das that are an integral part of the German language. A lot of people are very frustrated by them. Don't get frustrated by them. They're actually very helpful in the end of seeing how things go, making a distinction between two different areas of grammar. Whereas in English, it's less distinct because it's not divided into three parts, but only two. And in German, we still have some places in English where you see that, but in German, it's very clearly defined if you learn the der, die, das. So everybody has the problem with the der, die, das. Why do we call them masculine, feminine, and neuter? The biggest problem is the naming of them. Okay. They should have called them back in the day when they named them. They should have called them chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry because they have as much to do with ice cream flavor as they have to do with gender or sex. Okay. It so happens that things that are masculine, right, men, boys, are assigned the article der for their the word. Der Junge, der Mann. Okay. But then you have der Bleistift is a pencil. There's nothing masculine about a pencil. Okay. So get that whole masculine, feminine. It's the terminology grammatically. Okay? And it's just what we're stuck with. But you got to get the sex part out of it, gender part out of it. It's what der, die, or das is attached to each word. Okay. So you can also use the der, die, or das to talk about a person. So if you talk about a masculine person, der Klaus. If you talk about a feminine person, die Heidi. Okay, so you can also use that with this. So here we go. Asking about a boy's name. Wie heißt der Junge? Der Junge heißt Matthias. Heißt der Junge Matthias? Nein, heißt Hermann. What about the girl's name? Okay. Wie heißt das Mädchen? Das Mädchen heißt Chrissy. Okay. And again, it's das Mädchen, right? If you go with the gender thing, it's der is masculine, die is feminine, das is neuter. Well, that makes girls gender free, gender neutral. That they forget the gender thing. It's chocolate, vanilla, strawberry. Der, die, das is just attached to words. Okay, it means the. So the girl, das Mädchen. Wie heißt das Mädchen? What's the girl's name? Das Mädchen heißt Chrissy. The girl's name is Chrissy. Hi, Chrissy. Heißt das Mädchen Anja? Nein, sie heißt Steffi. All right. So now talking about a little bit of grammar here. Formulating questions. We're just saying, heißt du Stefan? And when we translate to English, it has two verbs, right? The one verb in German turns to two verbs in English, which is very common and very frustrating at first. But once you get used to it, it makes you love speaking German because it's much simpler than English. So, wie heißt du? How called you, or how are you called, right? Or heißt der Junge Stefan? Is the boy's name, is he called Stefan, right? So the der, die, and das, the gets attached to everything. So don't get frustrated when you see someone go, oh, wo ist die Steffi? Why is she saying, where's the Steffi? That's just something Germans say. Okay, it's kind of a weird thing, but that's the way it is. So again, to formulating questions now. The verb has two parts in English, in German, typically one. Okay, there are some questions that are formulated with interrogative pronouns, question words, that are exactly formulated like English. So they're very nice for us and they're easy, but I want you to see the difference and see where the grammar is in English and German, where it's the same, but also see that where it's different, where in German there is one verb and in English there has to be two. And just make that connection in your brain so that later on, when you're learning stuff and you go, why is it true? You don't have to ask why, you already understand it. Okay, so there we go. So forming questions. There are multiple ways to formulate questions in German, just as there are in English. One form of question starts with an interrogative pronoun, question words like who, what, when, where, why. Okay, example, wie alt bist du? How old are you? See, lines up perfectly with English. Another way to formulate questions is placing the verb at the front of the sentence. This is done in German just as it is in English, right? So, bist du 20 Jahre alt? Are you 20 years old? Again, we've got this with the verb to be, right? And the question words with the interrogative pronouns, it lines up like English, so it makes it very easy for us. However, in English, we often have multi-part verbs, whereas in German, uses a singly conjugated verb. Heißt das Mädchen Anja? Is that girl named Anya? So you got your two verbs here. You got is and named, right? Or called, right? The German has one verb, heißt, right? And English has the two verb, is named. Okay, so just take some getting used to. But if you have questions, make sure you reach out. Let me know. hairtaylor@hairtaylor.com. All right, so our second, so sagt man das, so says one that, is asking who someone is. To find someone else's name, you might ask, wer ist das? Who is that? Okay, and right here, I'm going to make a quick side note on the interrogative pronouns. We've got our question word, wer. This means who in English, right? So another confusing point in German is that the question word wo in German translates in English to where. Okay, so wer looks like who, or looks like where, and wo looks like who, but it's backwards. So don't get trapped into that. Right now, learn wer. Okay, wer ist das? And you can remember here in a second when we say das ist der Stefan. Okay, wer rhymes with der. Okay, and then if you've already learned, or if you're in the process of learning, woher kommst du, right? Woher, where from? That has wo in it. So remember woher, where. So that can help you remember that. But just don't let yourself fall into that pitfall. All right. So wer ist das? Who is that? Here we go. Wer ist das? Das ist die Monika. Das ist der Stefan. Das ist Frau Schneider. That's Mrs. Schneider. So Frau is Mrs. in German, and Mrs. and Miss, and Herr Taylor is Mr. for all ages. All right, so last little bit here. Definite articles, der, die, and das. Again, don't let this confuse you. It's not as confusing as people let it become. Okay, so relax, enjoy. Once you learn this, it makes things so much easier. German has 3 words for the: der, die, das. These words are grammatically known as definite articles. These words tell us which class or group a German noun belongs to. Words that have der as their article, such as der Junge, there's Microslop making corrections for me again. Der Junge, the boy, are known as masculine nouns. Again, that's misleading. Okay. Words that have the article die, such as die Lehrerin, the female teacher, are known as feminine nouns. Now, it's not misleading in that all things like that. Der Lehrer is the male teacher. Die Lehrerin is the female teacher. And that's a great thing. Der Professor, die Professorin. Der Doktor, I don't like doctor. Der Arzt, die Ärztin. Right? So these are things that distinguish the male and female in professions. And they can, again, be used with people. Das ist der Kurt. Das ist die Inge. Right? But here, professions, it makes more sense. Okay, so that clicks with our brains. But then we start talking about die Flasche, right? The bottle is feminine. What's feminine about a bottle? There's nothing feminine about a bottle. Chocolate, vanilla, strawberry. Okay, so words that have the article die, articles that have the article die, such as die Lehrerin, female teacher, are known as feminine nouns. The third group of nouns has a definite article of das Mädchen. These are known as neuter nouns. Okay, don't let the term gender throw you, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so practice for these things. So das ist der Kurt. So when you see someone, think in your head, like hopefully, again, you always want to have someone to practice with, but oftentimes we don't, so you practice with yourself. Have a conversation yourself. Wer ist das? Das ist Frau Schmidt. Wer ist das? Das ist der Johnny. Okay. Then I got a little exercise here for you to do. Again, there's more information on der, die, das all over the internet. Here's one I found that's really good. This guy's got some good stuff. So head over there and check that out. Also, don't forget to go to hairtaylor.com, buy a t-shirt or 10, and we will see you in the next lesson. Tschüss.